Let's begin by saying our thoughts and our prayers with the families of those who lost their lives. David Ngbaba, who is an inspector of police, Mr. Samuel Nwigwe, who is a vigilante member in Ebere Omuma, as well as Endwele Jindu, who was a former SUG president of the Elechi Amadi Polytechnic in Port Harcourt. These are the casualties recorded following these disagreements, controversy around the tenure of local government chairmen. Their tenure expired on June the 17th, but due to two laws in contention as to whether they should stay or not, and that escalated into what we're seeing today, which is why we've been having this conversation. And we're being joined on the program to further explore this by the APC Caretaker Committee Chairman in Rivers State, Mr. Tony Okocha, who joins us via Zoom, as well as the recently sworn-in Caretaker Chairman of Ikwere Local Government Area, Mr. Darlington Orji. They both join us via Zoom. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, Mr. Orji, let me start with you before I go to Mr. Okocha. You've just been sworn in. We've seen what's been going on. Of course, you are the ones in the know right there. And we've seen police taking over secretariats of local government area. Now that you've been sworn in, because the governor has given you the mandate to move on to do your job, have you resumed, or is the police still barricading local government council? What exactly is the situation from where you sit?
Thank you for the privilege of allowing me speak from my own position of what is happening in Rivers State, and I will speak the truth and nothing but the truth. Upon swearing in today, we were asked to go and resume so that we can swear in our members. I got to Ikwere Local Government Council. I saw that it's been barricaded by security agents, the police, to be very precise. And I asked a question, and they said we are acting on the orders of the Inspector General of Police. So that is the situation. I couldn't access the council because I do not want to break laws. My responsibility is to make sure that there is law and order, and to make sure that my people are protected and peace reign in my local government. So I wouldn't want to force myself against the security agents so that I will not have any clash with them. So that is the position at the moment, is that the police, or I can refer to them, the security agencies, have barricaded the gate of the council. So there is no point of power tussle. I decided to let it be. But we are working on it to see what we can do further to make sure they will clear the way so that the local government people will feel the impact of the my own idea and contribution to the betterment of our local people.
I'm going to come back to you, Mr. Darlington, but let me go to Mr. Okocha to get you. Let me get your view, Mr. Okocha. I saw that you're already giving a statement declaring a state of emergency. Has this gotten to that point in your view?
Yeah, it has. We are in a state of war. And all the indices and variables are palpable. And so what else would anyone say? My friend there said he was speaking his opinion. I am speaking the opinion of Rivers people. I'm speaking the opinion of non-politicians. I'm speaking of the opinion of residents of Rivers State, who are being molested, who are being attacked, who are being humiliated because of a war that the governor himself unleashed. It is a war in the state, and that war is between the governor of the state versus the governor of the state. Because I recall, and I'm sure that it was on this your session, that on the 19th of January 2024, we had met with the chairman and members of the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission. One of the issues we raised before the chairman was the issue of local government election. That was on the 19th of January. And in fact, the press took interest in that and engaged me immediately after that meeting outside. And we hammered on the issue of local government election within the extant laws of the state. And nobody gave heed to it. Now look at it. Look at the fallout. Look at the aftermath. Now innocent people are being killed. You just talked about 3 persons. That is the reported one. But I can assure you that there are a whole lot that are unreported. So is that how to go? So please let us not encourage illegality. issue is that it is a governor who has decided to be unteachable. He has decided to refuse or become amenable to counsels, and to that extent will close his ears and does whatever he feels he will do, not even minding and not any attempt to recourse to the law. That's where we are in Rivers State today. And so if you have these signs that are palpable, it is said, in one of the aphorisms, that it is too late to cry when the head is off. Should we be crying for a state of emergency when our people are all dead? And I'm saying to you that the dogs have been let loose from the creeks.
So, Mr. Akocha, let me, my apologies, let me butt in because I want to crunch in as many questions as possible. What could have been done differently to avoid this escalation? You listen to Mr. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, please.
Thing, conduct local government election. The SEC, as it were, RISEC as it were today, is within your beck and call. I mean, we have seen local government elections conducted in this country. There is none in this country where you see that a local government election is conducted under a sitting governor, and then the offices and the seats in the council are clenched completely by the opposition party. That is not there. Now, the governor refused because he said to some of his friends and in some of his broadcasts that there were political tensions. But those political tensions that he lashed on for the reason why he was not going to conduct election were not there when he traversed from local government 1 to local government 23 in his quest to start building structure in what they call the Thanksgiving. I don't know what Thanksgiving, they were thanking actually. Okay, so those tensions were not there because he had moved from one local government to the other local government. Couldn't he have that within that period organized election? And we're not saying that we're introducing something new. This is what is contained in the constitution and the law of the state. The law says that 3 months before the expiration of a local government council, the RISEC will set the process of electing a new local government. Listen, and come to think of it,
let me take it back. My apologies. Let me take it back to Mr. Darlington. Mr. Darlington, on this. So I'd like you to respond to some of the comments he's made, and what will be your next line of action, given the fact that you've not been allowed access to the the local government secretariat, as it were, at this moment, at this material time?
I just told you here that we are not going to take laws into our hands. But let me just clear one issue here. Tony Okocha, on the other side, my friend and brother, was a former chief of staff to the former governor of Rivers State, Right Honorable Chieftain Amechi, for 4 years. Tony Okocha should tell the world when election was conducted. Election was conducted about 1 month to the end of that 4 years tenure. And he was chief of staff in that government. He didn't advise the government. He didn't say anything wrong. The governor of Rivers State is very sensitive to the plight of the people. And he has said, in fact, while inaugurating us today, he said in the next few days that the RISEC is going to roll out the process of will feel the impact of the politically elected government. Now, the is encouraging. I want to tell you what brought about the barricading of the local government. It is because the outgone chairman refused to go. And these are chairmen that we are caretaker committee, like for instance, my local government, the Ikore local government. The local government chairman, former local government chairman of the Ikore local government, was a caretaker committee chairman for 9 months before he was elected by the people of the Ikore local government. Today, caretaker committee is no longer visible. And now, Tony Okocha also talked.
Oh dear. Mr. Oji.
The Thanksgiving, you know what? Excuse me, sir, please. I can remember as a fact that when he was appointed the caretaker committee chairman of APC, he went for Thanksgiving. So you should know that Thanksgiving is biblical. What we went around to thank God for was the outcome of the electionary process that we started from the first court of instance and ended in Supreme Court, which we got victory. It is What thanking God for if there is nothing? And it was local government in their own discretion. He also alleged that the government of the day was spending 150 million.
Mr. Darlington, if you can unmute, okay.
So this is a man that is known for raising false allegations, false.
All right, I may just interrupt for a bit so that we can get you. So I don't know what's going on with the network. So let's get back to Mr. Okocha. Mr. Okocha, let's backtrack a bit because tomorrow we're going to be hearing the appeal that was brought forward by the Amewule-led group appealing the Justice Charles Wale decision or an ex parte order of interlocutory injunction granted restraining them from parading themselves. 5 of those prayers were granted, including stay of proceedings, but the other ones are to be heard before determination of the Court of Appeal, before their Lord Justices. So, but let's go back to what played out before Justice Okogbule Basam, which is part of the mix of all of this, where in an obiter dictum, he had mentioned, and people ran with it, that the PDP members who defected, the lawmakers and PDP who defected to the APC, are now are still members of the PDP, non-members of the APC. So I wanted to find out from you, and I did interview and spoke with the APC publicity secretary on this particular, on another program, and he said the right things will be done. So as we speak now, those 26 lawmakers, because it's part of the foundational problem that we're dealing with, are they members of the APC? Have they properly registered with the APC?
Okay, well, it will be difficult to offer an answer yes or no, because the matter, as we speak, is before the Court of Competent Jurisdiction. In fact, even I traveled to the Court of Appeal. And in law, we are told there's a word called sub judice. A matter, when a matter is before the court and is being discussed in court, I mean, is it being argued in court? You don't talk about it from outside the court. But in the proper sense, let us get what it is here. What makes somebody a member of an organization is to the fact that you are registered in that organization. You have a membership card of that organization, or you have an ID card of that organization. Have they discovered that all of these things are correct? But okay, like I said, I'm not interested in talking about them because, I mean, they are matters before the court. You see the issue we are talking about here. I do not want to go into reductionist argument with my friend and my brother who is on the other side. I don't want to go into reductionist argument at all.
No, Mr. Okocha, I'm not. Mr. Okocha, I'm not going to ask you to comment on issues that are sub judice. I'm enlightened enough to know how far I can go with the conversation. It's a simple question, Mr. Okocha. You are the caretaker chairman of the party. This company I work with, Channels Television, they have my document. That's why I can sit here and claim to be a staff of the organization. It's a simple question. It doesn't have to do with sub judice. Do you have their records with you?
I am still saying to you that the matter is before the court. I cannot garrison the court just the same way they are doing. I will not garrison the court. The matter is before the court to decide. Because as I sit here, I can tell you my name better than you. So if the members of the assembly says this is what they are, that is what they are. So let's allow the law. Let's allow the law. Well, the law is not about sentiment. The law speaks facts and figures.
All right,
so
let me
introduce sentiments and emotions, likes and dislikes. It makes no sense to go the entire thing.
All right, Mr. Okocha, I clearly understand. You may not want to comment. That is fine, but it's not about emotion or sentiment. I think it's a straightforward question that requires a yes or a no. I don't think it's difficult to say I have record, I don't have record. Let's go back to Mr. Darlington. Mr. Darlington, let me speak to you for a moment. Mr. Okocha, I'll come back to you. Mr. Darlington, apparently everybody is literally grandstanding, especially in Ikwere local government area where you are taking charge as a caretaker chairman. I remember clearly that when Ms. Anwan-Osike, I think, left as the PDP publicity secretary, you took over from him. You were the chief of staff of Ms. Anwan-Osike, who I spoke to yesterday, and today you have his job. With this grandstanding, how do you intend to oversee that there is peace? Because that seemed to be the first line of action. What are you doing behind the scene?
Well, like I told you that when I met the barricade, I shouldn't confront the security agencies because I know that part of their intention is to make sure that there is peace in Ikore local government, which would be my greatest achievement. That there should be peace in an area you want to lead the people, so you should lead them through the path of peace. But my dear brother, let me tell you, see, a man shouldn't run away from the obvious. There is nothing like being subjudice here. I just want to react to some of the things he's saying so that you will understand my brother very, very well. He just asked a simple question. What is your name? And he talked about I took over from Samuel Wanosige as the publicity secretary. I was also his former chief of staff as the council chairman of Ikore local government. But let me tell you, Tony Okocha should be bold to tell the world that he received those people in a well-guided reception, organized by him, celebrated by him, and also went ahead at the time to say, I order the members of APC who are in Rivers State House of Assembly to commence impeachment proceedings. Why can't he tell the truth? What is the difficulty if you ask him what is your name? His name is Chief Tony Okocha. He should be able to tell the world about that. Now, let me tell you what I'm going to do. I'm working on the ground to make sure that that barricade is being cleared. I'm not going to be confrontational. I love my people. I have served my people in different capacities. And now that God has given me the responsibility in managing their affairs and their resources, it is not for me to go and hurt them. The problem we have is that people do not understand that life itself has a time limit. There is a time to be born, there is a time to die. And everything that has a beginning has an end. Dr. Samuel Wanosike should know that his people love him to the extent that they gave him opportunity to serve them for 2 tenures outside the 9 months caretaker committee member. And come to Rivers State, I can tell you that is where he made this resistance. A man who has not, maybe he didn't prepare himself well to understand that there is a time to exit. I hear him saying the other day that he has served 1 day. We are not going to make we'll do our best to pass through the path of the law to make sure that that gate is open.
Oh, dear.
To work with servants who are traditionally employed to offer services to our people, we gain interest. A young man like that cannot barricade a gate that his people have given him opportunity to serve. There are better opportunities after being local government chairman. My dear brother, there is a time limit for everything. So be rest assured, we are discussing, and by the special grace of God, we'll come over it. Those are the part of the hurdles we are going to meet as a leader. But I have the capacity and capability to attend to those issues as they come, making sure that I'll do it through the path of the law, and I will not be confrontational for any reason.
All right, I'm going to come back to you as we begin to wind up, but let me go back to Mr. Okocha. Mr. Okocha, I saw, and you've reconfirmed, of this your call for state of emergency. Are you calling on the president to intervene again?
What intervention are we calling the president to intervene again? The president has intervened, and amidst his very busy schedules, he intervened. And the issues were well laid out. 8 points agenda, so to speak. We call them presidential proclamation. And all of these were contained. I can tell you clearly, at least I was a member, I was in that meeting, I was a signatory to that agreement. In the state particularly, the president said clearly in that paper that there will be nothing other than a democratically elected chairman and councillors in the local government, that any other nomenclature is completely outlawed. And I want to also let you know that in the local government number 4 of the amendment, as we speak today, that law precludes, or rather takes away the possibility of either making a caretaker committee or having to announce a head of local government to be in charge of the local government.
But Mr. Okocha, my apologies, Mr. Okocha, because I asked you an initial question and you refrained from commenting. This issue you are raising now has been ruled upon by Justice GGQ. I hope you remember that it was very clear that it's a breach to the 1999 Constitution, Section 7(1), which allows for only elected officials, elected persons to occupy office. And it says it's also in breach to the 2018 law, that's number 4, or number 5 rather, section 9(2) of that law as well? Because if you're referencing, we also need to remind ourselves what the position of the law is. It has not been set aside yet, which is the bone of contention.
I'm sure you know that there is a court of appeal on this matter sitting. And at the court of appeal had taken arguments on both sides. And knowing the seeming volatile nature of the matter, had said to all parties, they had to stay proceedings in the matter. And they also said, let the status quo remain. And
Mr. Okocha, on which one are you citing now? Is it the one that is sitting tomorrow?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
The one sitting tomorrow has to do with the status of the lawmakers, not on the legislation.
All the issues are consolidated. And I don't know if you understand. I
have access to the CTC. I know the 11 prayers, so I understand what I'm saying. Anyway, yeah. But let me land with this. What is the way forward now? What is the way forward, including our thoughts?
Well, I don't know what you mean by way forward. The way forward I have said, and I'm not willing to vacillate. The way forward is that the dogs have been let out of the bag, and they are on the prowl. They are beginning to cause mayhem. They are beginning to inflict injuries on innocent Nigerians. And I want to say again to Nigerians that this war in Rivers State is just there. It's not looming war. It's full blown as we speak. And I want to say to Mr. President that what is the decision, or rather the solution to this the quagmire in Rivers State is that the state of emergency should be imposed. Because like I said, the governor is not amenable to cancels. The president had cancelled him, he had refused, and he had gone to air on to television to say that Rivers people do not have elders who have the capacity and capability to be able to strike a truce. So where do we go from there? Do we have to wait until the Rivers people are dismembered? Do we have to wait until they kill all of our people before the federal government will wade in? Luckily, even the governor himself had expressed helplessness. When he came out of that meeting yesterday, he said, oh, look, that what he announced was that the head of local government should take over, that he's surprised that the local governments have been taken over. And I can tell you that takeover of local governments yesterday by hoodlums couldn't have been spontaneous. It was planned over time. Okay? All right. And the killings,
my apologies, we're totally out of time. So, my apologies, please. I want to take the last thought of Mr. Darlington Orji before we wrap up. Mr. Darlington, just as a final thought as we wind down.
My final thought is that we have no other state other than River State, and statesmen like Tony Okocha should stop beating the drum of war and preach peace, even though he understands. If I refer to him as a fashionable chairman, I will not be making a mistake, but because he's also in court. My prayer is that people should understand that their tenure has ended and they should take a bow and move on, and God will provide or open another windows for them. His Excellency, the governor, is peacefully inclined, and that is what he's preaching. And even today, we are warned not to be confrontational to our people, because the blood of Rivers people does not want any position in these rivers, because he cannot take away what he cannot give. So we are preaching peace. We believe in peace. Tony Okocha should also preach peace and accept that his members that he has celebrated openly are now members of APC. You can't eat your cake and have it. But it will also depend on the position of the court, like I said. You know, I have never seen such dishonorable men. You came out red in the floor of the House that you have defected from this party to APC, from PDP to APC, and you cited your reason, and a grand reception was organized for you, organized by Tony Okocha. And I'm also sure, since you used to quote money, maybe that program you spent about 300 million naira.
All right, Mr. Darlington, I'm totally out of time.
That is what you hear.
All right, well, we're totally out of time. Mr. Darlington, my apologies, but we hope that there will be peace and there will not be any more killings in any form or shape going forward at the end of the day. Let's hope that tomorrow's hearing at the Court of Appeal will put some bait to some of the situation we have in Rivers State. The Section 7 of the Constitution is very clear of some of these things. So we're seeing all kinds of conundrum as far as this legalese is concerned. But at some point, we're going to get the experts to make comments on this. We must thank you, Mr. Tony Okocha, APC Caretaker Chair, as well as Mr. Darlington Orji, the Caretaker Chair of Ikwere Local Government Area. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming to the program, and wish the state some peace. Thank you. Well, we'll take a quick break now. When we come back, we'll switch gears to Edo State, where we'll talk to one of the campaign chairman of one of the candidates as far as Edo governorship race is concerned. Join us again. We'll be right back.